Are you clear, sir, everyone? Right. ORM, Object Relational Mapping. How it works, I'll explain. Object is one of the important question, relational mapping. Right. So this is my database software. Yes, my database software. In the database software, assume that I have a table like student, student number, student name, student address. Now, assume that we are writing one Java class. Class the test. Class test. Otherwise, student open and close. Class student. Now, here I can try to specify the properties, sir. What are the properties I can write in a student number, student name, student address. Setters, getters like this. Setters and getters like this. Setters and getters like this. Set triplex method, get triplex method. Set triplex method, get triplex methods. So how to map this? See here, object OR mapping. One of the important questions. This is a relation database software. This is my Java class, hybrid Java class. Now, OR mapping, it means that class name mapped with a table name, class name mapped with a table name, class properties mapped with table columns, class properties mapped with table column, class properties mapped with table columns. Each and every row will be represented object. It's called as OR mapping. One more time. Object relational mapping. One more time. Let me write the point. Class name mapped with a table name. But with table name. We'll do practically, sir. Class name mapped with the table name. Class properties. Properties mapped with table columns. Table columns. Class name mapped with a table name. Class properties mapped with a table columns. Each and every row, each and every row will be represented based each and every row will be represented the object. Each and every row will be represented object. If you have any changes, if you have any changes in the object, if you have any changes in the object, the changes will be reflected. The changes will be reflected. The changes will be reflected. In the object. The changes. Right. So if you have any changes in the object, the changes will be reflected in the object. The changes will be reflected. The changes will be reflected. Have any changes? Now, any changes? If you have any changes in the object, the changes in the if you have any changes in the database, it reflected object. It reflected object. So we can we see the practically? Yes, we can. I'll show you a proof, sir. Object. It's called as OR mapping. I'll talk about this one. So I hope you understand. So if you ask anyone question, so can you explain what is OR mapping? I'll give the answer like this. Object relational mapping. Class name mapped with a table name. Class properties mapped with a table column. Each and every row will be represented. Each and every row will be represented object. If you have any changes in the object, the changes will be reflected. If you have any changes in the database table, it's reflected in the object. It's called as OR mapping, object relational mapping. Are you understand? So especially these persistent frameworks work at ORM software, OR mapping. Based on this object relation mapping, it will work. So this theoretical point is common for any technology, sir. It is IBTs, Hypernet, ADO, JPA, anything is same, sir. No change at all this point. Is it clear, everyone? Please, guys.
Yes, sir.
Advainama?
Yes, sir.
Right. So 100, Shiva, Hyderabad. So each and every row, each and every row. Now, one object, each and every row will be represented object here. Now, Shiva, Hyderabad, like this. So, row only. For example, if you do any small changes, because Hyderabad place USA Vitanama, the changes will be reflected in object, madam, here. These objects are hybrid environment, okay? Or environment will be created. Now, if 1,000 objects, 1,000 rows until 1,000 objects will be created. Is it clear? That's what I mentioned. Each and every row will be representing one object. If you have any changes in the object, the changes will be reflected in the database table. If you have any changes in the database table, the changes will be reflected on object. It's called as OR mapping, object relational mapping. Are you clear, everyone, please? Everyone? Guys, is it clear? Any question, please?
Yes,
Let
sir.
me know. So is one of the important question, madam. What is OR mapping? Object relational mapping. So question and important. And one more thing is we should have a clear picture OR mapping concept. Now, so especially working with what is the use of Hibernate? Independent queries, madam. JDBC. If you are using JDBC API, observe that queries are dependent. Queries are dependent. So what is mean by queries are dependent? It means that if you're working with MySQL related query only we write it. If you're working with, what is that name is called? Oracle. Oracle related query. If you're working with SQL Server related queries, madam. Got you? But here in Hibernate, we have a facility to write a Java statement as a query. How to write it? What is the technology? What way we can write it? I'll explain. That's a different story. Assume that we can write a query that independently. So it means that once you write the query, that query if it works, even Hibernate, MySQL, works SQL Server, it works PostgreSQL. We are not required to worry about it, ma'am. Are you understand now, everyone? So that is the major that point, sir. One more thing is JDBC. JDBC level connection pooling. If you want, what is mean by connection pool? First of all, connection pool, it means the set of connection objects. More than one connection object we can try to represent them at a time. So observe that when we are working with JDBC, when we are working with a JDBC, Java Database Connectivity, we created a connection. Only one connection object we created and we are using. Once our work is completed, we are trying to close it. But generally, what will happen, we require, for example, multiple clients are coming and accessing, madam. One connection object is busy. Then we require one more connection object to give a service to the one more user. Right or not? Once the work is completed, again it should be go to in the pool. In this context, we use connection pool. Connection pool, it means that set of connection objects will be represented. If you want to work with JDBC, connection pool to maintain the connections, we require to configure explicitly, sir. We require connections explicitly, no doubt, like this. Are you understand now, please? We have to create connection object like this. So this connection object is giving a service to one person, is busy user now, one user. Then one more connection object ready to give a service. So like this, better to like this, we can maintain some of the connection object according to my rush and my visitors. What I can try to say, we have to be maintain n number of connection objects. These object it give a service to the users. But in JDBC, we should be configured like this explicitly, madam. But in Hibernate, by having one of the great feature, inbuilt connection pool support. So inbuilt connection pool support means that Hibernate framework itself is providing a set of connection objects. So once we configure, as by default, it will be provide our connection pooling support. So we are not required to we are not required to configure explicitly. That is a great thing with Hibernate. Next, hybrid is a POJO and POJI model programming. What it means is one of the future. What it means by POJO and POJI model programming? POJO it means that uh, I use the word like POJO, right? What is a POJO? Plain old added Java object.
Okay.
POJI, plain old added Java interface. Got it? Like this. POJO and POJI. POJI model programming, plain old added Java object, plain old added Java interface like this. So POJO, it means that the Java class is not implementing any predefined interfaces. Java class, not Java predefined Java class, sorry, Java class is not extend predefined interfaces. Predefined is not implement predefined interfaces. Extending predefined classes, we can call POJO class. When we can call POJO class? Any Java class not extending predefined interfaces, not extending predefined what? Classes, predefined
Uh-huh.
interfaces, predefined classes. We can call as a POJO class. So for example, class demo, class a test, like this. Are you understand, please, everyone? Right. So what about POJI? Plain old Java interface. So POJI it means that plain is not extending any predefined interfaces. We can call POJI. So this is the way you can try to work. So nothing is there. I hope you understand, please. Got it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is a POJO and POJI model programming. That's it. Hibernate simply this is these many features of Hibernate, sir. Right. Good. So already uploaded some files here. Look at now. Vendor. Who is the vendor? Sorry. Software tree. Who is the author? Gavin King. What is the version? Sir, now version is changes, sir, not 4.0, is almost 6.0. Right. Good. What is ORM? The process of mapping a Java class with a database table, memory variables, table columns, ORM. Hibernate, I told you, right? So Gavin King. Who is the version? Gavin King. Now latest version is 5 plus. Right. Features of Hibernate. It is a lightweight software to develop persistent logic without using any container support up against server support. It allows POJO, POJI model programming. Just now I explained you what is POJO and POJI. Then I told you very clearly, Hibernate support for inbuilt transaction connection pooling support. Yes. It gives support for database independent query language called HQL. Database independent query. I told you, right? You'll see every point a practical is there. Whatever I features I'm mentioning here now. Next exam, next today evening, we are going to design the application. So one by one, this feature will be covered so that you will understand confidently, oh, why this point is. It supports object level relationships. There is no bytecode enhancement in Hibernate. It means that once you design Hibernate application, if you, this application, once you design, if you run this application any server, web application, along with the web application, if you run any server, server will not be added any additional Java classes for Hibernate. That's the reason we use the word, there is no bytecode enhancement in Hibernate. Hibernate support mapping level inheritance. It means that Hibernate supporting relationships. I told you, right? Hibernate support two levels of catch. What is the catchy? What is the catchy? Type 1, type 2 we'll discuss in a moment elaborately. So these are the main features of Hibernate. Are you clear, everyone, please? Yes. Guys, this part is clear? Yeah. See, just now, the logic what we are writing, you know that drawbacks, database dependent. So to make a persistent logic database independent, we are looking different frameworks to perform persistent operations. Yeah, I told you. What is Hibernate? Using Hibernate can make simplification of persistent logic interact with database software to perform manipulations like it. So the only thing is the definition don't boycott, then understand what exactly it will do. Then you can try to speak. That is the best ways always. Hibernate implement the specification of JPA for data persistent. What is JPA? I told you then. These specifications are implementing like this in every software. Sir. Next. Till now is clear? See, create the application. That's instead of that, I made a simple definition like understandable definition. Hey, what is the framework? The framework to make using a framework can simplify the application development. Can simplify the application development. And we can, the framework is designed a set of classes. A framework represents set of classes and interfaces to make a simplification of your development. We have different types of frameworks like web framework, persistent framework like this. The same points that whatever I mentioned you. Right.
Right.
Next.
Next.
Mute the
With
mics.
the
What is war mapping? Anyone please? What it mean by war mapping? Guys,
It
what
is
it mean
used
by
to map
war mapping? Hmm.
class name with table name, data members with fields, and object with a database.
Yeah, simple map. And a class name mapped with a table name, class properties mapped with a table column, and each and every row will be represented in Hibernate. Sorry, object. If you have any changes in the object, the changes will be reflected in the database. The changes will be reflect. If you have any changes in the database, the changes will be reflected. No. So this is the way I made this statement, sir. It's a very simple statement. Anyone can understand. Okay. Now, what is ORM? Right. See, or generally, ORM is a technique used to creating bridge between object-oriented programming and relational database management system. That's this is what the diagram. If you see that, this is what I made a simple. I don't like to give a complex operation the definition, sir. This is what I told you, right? Class name, app with the table name, everything. Got it? Java object mapping logic database. It's called as OR mapping.